Well, good evening. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. And we have a pretty sensitive topic tonight, but we're all going to be really civil. We're going to be nice, and we're going to talk about this and have a discussion. So I'm going to set the stage for what happened a couple weeks ago. I got an email from some concerned parent from Springfield High School, and her son had showed in the 10th grade. It was a persuasive writing assignment in the 10th grade English language arts class at Springfield High School. And one of their choices, they had many choices on things they could pick to talk about and do a persuasive argument either for or against it. And one of the things taught was a video that we're going to show you tonight. And the parents saw it, and other parents saw it, and people started getting really excited because there's some stuff in there that's concerning to some, not concerning to others. So I'm going to show you the video, but at the same time, I have two friends here who are going to talk about this, and the good thing is I don't really know where both of them stand completely on this at all. And Isaiah, my man, he was on my Instagram page, and he popped up, and I said, man, will you come on this show? Would you just get on here with me? And so he said yes. And our other person is Derek Bryant, and he's going to come on. He's a parent of two students at the high school. I want to first thank our sponsors, our sponsor, Chris Dental Family Dentistry, Michael Bratlin. He's very into conversation, really likes to have people talking about stuff like this. And that's what I think is the most important thing I hope that we get out of this. It's not... we need to have a discussion as a community about what is critical race theory, what does racism look like. I did also, real fast before I go to our guests, I also did call Jose De Silva, the principal, who's a friend of mine at Springfield High School. He declined to come on the show. He did send me some stuff where he said, that it was a persuasive writing class. Kids can pick any of the topics they want. And Derek can he as a parent, talk to the principal as well. So anyway, we're trying to get it to be all fair. But I think the biggest thing out of this is we need to have a conversation. So really quick, I'm going to first bring Derek on. So Derek, thanks for being with us. Tell him who you are.
Hey, Rick, how you doing? Derek Bryant. They've probably seen me before in your show a couple times.
Okay, so you saw the video. What was your impression?
Well, I was pissed because number one, that kind of video, the parents should have been notified first, and we should have had a right to, we should have known about that video and have given our kids permission to even watch it. And because when I talked to the principal, I explained it to him like, it's the school job to teach my kids about math, science, geography, history, leave the moral and value stuff to the parents. My kid has parents. So that's our job to teach our kids those things. And so the video was awful to me, actually. And it had nothing to do with English class. It was just indoctrination. The stuff it talked about was just awful, I thought. And it was divisive.
Now you're married to, your wife is white.
Correct. Over 20 years.
So you have mixed race children, and they go to Springfield High School. What is your concern over that?
Well, for my kids, not much, because my kids know better. They have two parents that teach them stuff. But the video, one lady spoke in there and said that you could be white and love black people and still be racist. So is she saying that my kids' mom really kind of like hates them in a secret kind of way? My wife really doesn't like me because I'm black, but she's been with me over 2 decades, and it was just full of like just untruth, and it didn't give any kind of facts, Black babies are likely to die if their doctor's white.
Let me do this.
Whether they drop them on the floor, suffocate them. How are white doctors killing black babies? Who believes that?
Okay, so let me do something really quick, Derek. I'm going to put Janet. I don't know why it's breaking up for you. I haven't seen that from anybody else yet. I'll keep watching. What I'm going to do is pull this comment out, and then I'm going to leave Isaiah in the background here so he can watch this video with us, but I'm going to play this video. This was produced by King TV out of Seattle, I think. It's on the internet. People can watch it themselves, but I want to show you, this was, again, it was one of the choices that people could watch, and I'm going to put this up here, and and see how this works.
You might think racism in the US is really a case of a few bad apples. A racist cop here, a so called Karen there, a leader of a white supremacist group. You know, people who deliberately hate. But we can't blame racism in America on just a few bad apples. Think of our nation's problem as more like an apple pie, with the racial injustice baked right into every aspect of our society. Meet Ebony and Emily, two American babies, one black, one white, born at the same time, same place, but Ebony will not get an equal slice of the pie, and that starts from birth. Because of her race, Ebony is 3 times more likely than Emily to die in the hospital as a newborn if her doctor is white. And once Ebony and Emily go to school, while both girls occasionally misbehave, studies show they won't face the same punishment. Ebony is 7 times more likely than Emily to be suspended, and 4 times more likely to be arrested on campus. When the 2 girls grow up and apply for jobs, odds are fewer employers will call Ebony back because she has a black-sounding name. And even though Emily and Ebony will get the same college degree, once Ebony is hired statistically as a black person, she'll make an average of 25% less than Emily. So why didn't Ebony get an equal slice of that apple pie? It's because systemic racism is built into our country's DNA. In the 17th and 18th centuries, wealthy white men needed land, so they took it from indigenous people and then forced blacks into slavery. To justify using blacks for free labor, the whites in power promoted a myth that blacks were inferior. And as Seattle-based author Ijoma Oluo points out, our nation's institutions, politics, and policies were designed against the backdrop of that money-driven lie that black people just weren't as worthy or as capable as whites.
Our school systems were built around this, our economic systems were built around this, our government systems were built around this. And it is simply that things were designed to uphold this story, to uphold this exploitation.
And even though slavery ended here more than 150 years ago, the racism that fueled it persists in systemic ways today. White Americans now hold 85% of this country's wealth. Black Americans, just over 4%, and Hispanics, just over 3%. People of color, people like Ebony, are statistically more likely to be impoverished, incarcerated, and face discrimination in healthcare. Emily may have her own barriers in life, but her skin color won't be one of them.
It's not someone said, here's your wealth because you're white. Here's your status because you're white. It simply means that the barriers that we placed in front of people of color were not placed in front of you. Now you may have a whole other set of barriers, right? You may have barriers of disability, barriers of class, barriers of immigration status, so many other barriers that were placed in front of you. But acknowledging privilege is simply acknowledging if we also took that other set of barriers that we place in front of people of color, you would stumble even further.
So even though you may not consider yourself a bad apple, a racist cop, a so-called Karen, or a member of an extremist group, Oluo says you may have played a role, even if you have the best intentions.
Instead of this whole, let's all learn to be best friends and love each other, you can love someone of a different race and ethnicity and still actively participate in their oppression based on how you vote, based on what you bring up in your office meetings, based on where you spend your money.
It's not too late to change the recipe of the most American apple pie.
Okay, so that's the video. Isaiah, I'm going to bring you into the stream. Isaiah Wagner, thank you for being with us.
How you doing, bud?
Hey, thank you for having me.
So Isaiah's on. Yeah, you're coming in clear. Isaiah just came on, like we just got him in here like at 10 till 5. So I appreciate you. I know you're in your car and you're doing this on the fly. So thank you. Derek, talk to me about the video.
Well, I mean, it says you're racist. All depends on where you spend your money. What's the racist stores? Like, where do you spend your money that makes you racist? Who you vote for makes you a racist. How is that possible? Like, I don't get it.
Isaiah,
who do you vote for? It's called you like their politics. That's why you vote for a person, because their politics. If you believe what they're saying, you spend your money where you want to spend your money. I don't know where the racist stores are. I don't know. Is JCPenney's, Kmart? Which one's is a racist store? You know, that's indoctrination to kids, and it's divisive, and it doesn't create unity. It creates finger pointing and blaming. It's got black kids saying, no matter what you do, you're black. You're probably going to go to jail. That's what I heard. You're going to go to jail because you're black. Don't matter how hard you work or how hard you study. You know, none of that matters. You know, cops are racist. You know, where's the video about teachers? How many times you turn the news on and some teacher's been sleeping with some kid? Where's that video? Hey, don't be alone with this teacher because you might get raped. Where's that video? You know, it's not fair because all teachers don't do that kind of stuff. All cops aren't racist. All black people don't go to jail and prison. You know,
all right. So hold on. Okay. So Isaiah, talk to me a little bit. How do you see this? And I want you to be really honest. If you disagree, tell me what you're thinking. I need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, there's a lot to unpack in the video. I think that there's a lot of different things in there that I could definitely see what Daryl has alluded to when he's pointing out certain things that are kind of questionable. But I think the all-around aspect of the P-bars of
break it up.
Hey, Derek.
Facing race, pretty much in America. I think that they hit the nail on the head when it came to a lot of different points. And you know, when I'm looking through the whole video, like I said, unpacking everything. Of course, there's things you can unpack that are just you scratch your head on, but there's other things that you're like, you know, there's some real significant educational value when it comes to opening people's eyes on these type of topics and issues. And if it makes you uncomfortable, you know, so be it. That's just kind of how the game goes. I mean, growing up in the society I grew up in, I didn't have to deal with the same oppressions that my parents faced or that my grandmother faced, you know. And so we live in a world where nobody wanted to make black people feel comfortable. And so, you know, now that we're seeing in 2021, the conversation being brought up and making people feel more uncomfortable, so be it. I have no issue with that.
But you just said it. You didn't have to go through the same things that your parents and grandparents went through. Why is that? Because things are getting better, not worse. You have more opportunities than they did.
Why is that? Because I didn't have a hose on me. Hose and dogs sicked on me when it came down to me fighting for my rights. But, you know, we did have to go through shit. We did have to go through certain types of oppression, and there's oppression every single place. You know, of course, I didn't have to go through the segregation of somebody telling me straight to my face, we don't want you here simply because of your color and getting spit on and spat on. Yes, things are getting better. Why are things getting better? Because black people are raising these issues. It's not because we've sat around idle by and said we hope that people will take into consideration our feelings. No, we have to go out there and fight for everything. Black people have been fighting ever since we've gotten to this country, and we're still fighting. Metaphorically, everything.
Let me talk
under the whole umbrella.
Let me ask you a question. So one of the things when I saw the video that kind of bugged me just about it is it felt like, not that I don't mind being made uncomfortable like that. It just made it feel like, how is this going to bring, I would rather have you and me, like you in a classroom talking about your experience rather than, because to me that video, what it says is white people do this. You don't have, as a young black man or woman, you don't have half the chance of getting this. You don't have to work hard. It's just you're screwed, and you can't do any better than what you got here. Rather than saying, how can me as a white person? Sorry, my train's coming by. How can me as a white person do a better job of making it so that we have these conversations and we can make that better? That's why I don't have a problem with this being in the school. I just think that they needed to tell the parents that this is coming so a parent can have a conversation with them and make that part of it. You know what I mean? Because I don't want my kids looking at black kids and you or Derek and thinking they're lesser than me. They don't get to be. I didn't raise my children that way, and that hasn't been a part of their life. We're white, but my son's is dating a beautiful Asian woman. And I'm hoping this is the one he's going to marry. I would love to have her as my daughter-in-law, but we didn't train him that way. But I want to have that conversation. You know what I mean?
Well, you can't help. Nobody can help the race they're born, and at the same time, nobody should be embarrassed of their race. And just because you're white, and Isaiah, you got to agree with this. You're not just automatically racist because you're white. That lady said you can love black people and still be a racist. That's not true, man. And it's not. And when I talked to the principal, I told him to pretty much stay in his lane. The school's job is to teach my kids science, geography, math, English, history. Leave the moral and the value stuff to mom and dad. Stay in your lane. Let us do the moral teachings and the sex education talk and the religious talk. That's our jobs. And to throw this video in an English class without even telling the parents, that's not cool, man. That's not your job to teach this stuff. But you heard the video. If you're born black by a white doctor, you're more likely to die. Why is that? Do you think white doctors are killing black babies? It was full of junk, man. It was full of crap. And Ebony and Emily, you know what's going to make a difference with Ebony and Emily? If Emily's fat, overweight, and ugly, and Ebony's smoking hot, black or white, Ebony's going to have a lot of more doors open for it. Whether that be true, false, wrong, or right, that's true. Good-looking women have more opportunities than women that don't look good. Screw the education. If you're smoking hot, doors going to open up for you, no matter what color you are.
Isaiah, talk to me. What are you thinking?
I think that's also an issue. Like that, I mean, we're both going back to the whole point where you're pointing things out that you have issues with, and I'm pointing things out that I see value in. So, and like I said, I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at with it.
You're breaking up, brother.
When it comes to like I said, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to all of it. So,
can I ask you,
but like
Isaiah?
I said, I mean, I don't see any issue with the. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. We're having a little delay here, so just ignore me. You keep go with your thought, and I'll get my question in there when I need to. Go ahead. Go with your thought.
Okay. Yeah. No. Gosh, I totally forgot what you said, Rick. I wanted to respond to you.
Okay, let me ask you this: what critical race theory? What I have been knowing I'm going to do this today. I have been going all over the internet. I've been watching podcasts that I didn't even know existed to find out, just to get a feel for this. It's so controversial in the country right now. Someone who, let me ask you, I guess. So, Isaiah, do you believe this is a good? Do you believe in critical race theory?
So I don't. There's so many damn terms out there, man. Every single time.
Tell me about it.
They always want. America's obsessed with labels. We have to throw a label on everything so that way we can understand. The fact is this. The discussion needs to happen more. We need to be talking about it more. And, most of the curriculum didn't go through the parents regardless anyways. I mean, nobody ever sat and asked about how people feel about certain things to begin with. And then once it becomes an issue, then we start seeing more waivers and all these other things happening. And so if that's what they want to go through, that they can go through that. But it has to be talked about. It has to be taught. It has to be mandatory that we learn about other society and cultures. That's just kind of the way I look at it. And the real history of America has to be taught.
But is there a way to do this? This is my question as a white dude. Is there a way to do this without always having to, it feels like, to tear everything down and rip it apart like everything was bad? I mean, is there a way to do this? And I'm not saying that slavery.
There's no way to sugarcoat it, Rick. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Everybody wants to get sugarcoated. You don't. Well, I'm sorry. White people don't get sugarcoated. I'm sorry. And I'm glad Daryl's here to disagree with me, because I think that it's important to show there is division in the black community. But this. white people, I'm sorry, you don't get to get sensorized to what is going on in with your rose-colored glasses in our own society. I'm sorry that that this country wasn't built for us, and it was built for you, and you've benefited from it. Whether you've not knowingly benefited from it, it was built for white people. It was built for white men. White men built it. When they said all men, they had no connotation or no regard for black men were considered men back at those times. They were considered boys. That's what they called.
So
all white men. And so that's why we're trying to constantly change of society and the way that things have been deemed to demonize us and have held us back. And black people are saying, no, we're going to push against the grain and continue pushing against the grain until we get to places like this. Because if they stopped pushing, we would have never been here having this conversation. How many people want to stop Dr. King for doing positive things, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We got to continue to push. And sometimes it may not be the right thing. Sometimes it comes in destruction. Sometimes it comes in anger. Sometimes it comes in ways that people don't want to see it. But we have to get the message across. And I don't disagree with that.
Okay, here's something real quick. So Chris is asking, and it brings up another question. Americ, I was listening to a couple. Oh, Derek, you just disappeared. Derek, go in and find the re-sign into the account. So Americans abolished slavery and embraced different cultures. So every country, I was listening to a podcast today. Every country, some still have it. That's Derek. He's going to have to figure out how to get on there. So every country, there's still countries that have slavery. And this person was saying in America, and I'm just asking, I don't want people bitching at me about this. We have to have this conversation. I know you won't because you're my friend, but so we abolished slavery.
Okay.
We've done the United States has done quite a bit in that area. It's not perfect, but we're better than a lot of countries that are still out there doing stuff like that. And people, even race to race, do slavery. So where do we get this? Go ahead.
And we want to be the best. We're America, right?
Right. So what would be the best? How could you and I change this? I mean, in terms of if we're gonna, I mean.
Hi, Rick. You know that much.
I didn't hear you. You cut out. I'm sorry.
It's bigger than you and I, Rick. You know that.
No, I know. But I think there's a lot of white people that want to work, that want to do this too. I think we just don't want to be like, well, yeah, sure. People don't want to be uncomfortable, but I think it's going to never go anywhere until it starts being a thing where it is a conversation like this. For instance, with this video, that's what I would have done if I was a school, called and put out a note and said, hey, this is what's coming out. Because we know critical race theory is pretty controversial in the country right now. So put this out and say, let's have a discussion. And we're going to bring Isaiah and Derek in, and we're going to have this conversation with people so you guys can form your own opinion, not have that video determine what that opinion is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's okay, man.
What I miss?
Nothing. You're fine.
All
I'm
right.
gonna try to get you up here so that the guest is in this place where it doesn't get cut off. Okay.
All right. When I got cut off, Isaiah was talking about the things how it used to be for black people. We all know that. That's the point I try to make. We all know the history of this country. Everybody over the age of 35 should know the real history. But you can't change it. And the stuff they're teaching in school, it's not education. It's indoctrinating and it's divisive. It's finger pointing and blaming. The kids today.
Where's the studies that show that?
What's that, buddy?
Where's the studies that show that?
Studies show what?
That it's indoctrinating and
you don't need a study just to hear it. When you tell an 11-year-old to a 16-year-old that black babies are being killed by white doctors, what do they believe? When you tell a black kid you're born black, dude, so you're probably gonna go to prison. Shit, don't even work hard. I tell my kids they can do whatever they want to do and to work hard and surround themselves with good people and be honest. And that's when they don't do those things. I get in their ass, but I make sure that they know that no matter what color they are, if you work hard, buddy, you believe in trusting God and surround yourself with good people, you're gonna make it. I don't care what color, and that's how I roll. And so I don't don't waste time. I don't want to say waste time, but I don't spend my energy on focusing on what happened in 1820 or 1870 because I can't change it. I can't do nothing about it. So I only focus on things that I can change, which is right now, and make sure my future is better. And let my kids know. My kids know about a year ago. My kids listen to a lot of rap music. Well, they used to, not as much anymore. And it was just full of N-word. And so you know what I did? I got on Amazon Prime and I rented Roots, the old 70s Roots. And we watched the whole series in 2 days. And I made them watch it to show them where that word comes from. And they don't, and it got to them. They understood. It might sound cool, but it's not cool. That word has a lot of baggage attached with it. And they don't use it. You know, so it's back to what I said earlier. Let the parents do their job. Schools stay out of our house and our kids' heads. You teach them the shit you're supposed to teach them: the science, the math, geography, education. That's your job, teacher. And don't sleep with the students either, because it's not your job either, and that happens.
Okay, hold on. So somebody is asking. Oh, one person did. I want to bring this up because they're citing. I'm sure that you noticed that all these points in this video were cited. Jessica, I don't. Cited and all that. I was a reporter. I don't pay much attention to that, but it also got a 2020 nominee for a Peabody Award and a prestigious Scripps Howard Award. But the same thing is I got awards for stories I did, and I'm not gonna. It doesn't make a big difference to me. It's the media judging the media. I'm judging. I want to know what Black people in my community feel about this, and white people. That's where I'm going to do my judgment. Somebody wants to know, Isaiah, do you support the Oregon Department of Education teaching Black students and people of color they're not smart enough to know math, so we'll just dumb it down? That's a question from Ann Kelly. I'm sure your answer would be no.
I mean, it's not even a real question to me. I mean, do I support the Oregon Department of Education? Is there some type of actual thing you're talking about?
Let me ask you this. This might be a better question. I don't know, Isaiah. I probably should have read that one. We'll put it down. Let me ask you this. The one thing in the video that kind of did trouble me, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, was that it does make me feel like it's saying that telling people like yourself, Black people, that you're not only that you're at a disadvantage, but the chances are you're not going to do anything with your life, and that troubles me a lot.
I didn't.
Okay, that's when I bring it up. That's what this is a white guy.
I missed that part entirely. I just the way I looked at it was that I knew that we had setbacks. Black folks are born with certain setbacks and restraints that other or I should say people of color, that other people aren't accustomed to, and so that's something that I've learned and I've gathered to accept moving forward. And I understand the whole premise of working harder and rolling up your sleeves and trying to get the job done, being a good person, so we can all make this country go along and get better, and that's how it should be. But there's just certain barriers, as was pointed out during the video. And like I said, it's just tough, because who's going to develop a video series that everybody's like, you know what, that hit the nail on the head, we all are happy with? It's never going to be like that. So, I mean, do I agree with every single?
They don't need to.
No, absolutely not. But do I think that the video had, when it came down to the meat and potatoes of it, I liked the meat and potatoes of it. Some of the stuff left out.
See, that's my point. We don't need a video to raise our kids. That's mom and dad's job, not the school.
So let me. Here's another. Kate brings up something interesting that I want to ask you guys. I'm absolutely not a racist as a white woman. If I ask questions, I'm automatically racist. How do I get around that? I shouldn't be racist because I'm white. And Isaiah and Derek both, I would put this in too, is if and I get this all the time online, mostly from white people telling me how I can't be involved in the conversation because I'm white. I understand I need to take a back seat to the conversation, because what I need to be doing is having you two having this conversation, because you're the Black people who are affected the most by it. But why is it I am not going to be discounted and have, that's racist to me if not you, but if people are trying to shut me up because of the color of my skin, that's doing the same thing to me that white people in the past did to you, or maybe still white people in the present, but it's the same thing.
People want to speak on. I'm not gay, but I can speak on gay topics if I have an opinion on it. Anybody can speak on anything, whether people carry it for wrong or right. You have a right to speak upon anything. And back to that video said that 85% of people in this country own the wealth. You know what it didn't say? It didn't say that 76% of the people in this country are white. So the majority of people in this country are white. They're going to have a majority of the wealth. It doesn't mean black people can't be wealthy too. We have a tons of wealth in this country. So I'm just not happy with the video, and I hope they pull it down and don't show that crap to kids. Let mom and dad do their job and let school do theirs.
Well, so what I think is to me, that I think is the good thing, and Dave, I don't know what you almost waned it. What the fuck does that mean?
What was it?
Dave says you almost waned it.
I don't know what that means either.
I'm so tired of people. I just want to have a conversation. So I kind of don't even give a shit what people are saying over here, because it's like, I just want to have a conversation without people. Well, and you did this and you said that and you did that. And it's just like, fuck you. I'm done with that. So here's the thing. Here's the good thing, I think, that comes from this. Oh, I owned it. Okay. So I'm sorry, David, but I don't know what waned. I have no idea what that meant. I just get frustrated because I'm reading over here on the side and I'm just going, oh my God. So I think the really good thing about this video coming out like that, here's what I think the perfect world should have happened. The school district, because I even got, Jose said to me, I hope you're going to tell people what we're doing. That's not my fucking job. If you're the school, you should be putting out, we're going to put this as part of an assignment, since you know this is a sensitive issue, especially in a town like Springfield. Put this out and have parents having a conversation with their kids. And then for me, the good thing is that we had this conversation. This is what we need to be doing, is having people answer so they can see people really talking. And here it's not even the same. Everybody in the black community is not going to agree. But we need to be having these conversations. And so maybe the good thing about this video is it does bring up that conversation. But I think the district needs to do a better job of educating the parents that, hey, we're moving into this critical race theory or whatever this is. We want to start educating our kids in this way, and let's get your opinions and come in. And because once I sit and talk to the two of you, this doesn't freak me out at all. I mean, and the more I watch the video, I kind of understood a little bit better. It's the beginning. And I think Dave Villanueva said that. I think David said that earlier. The beginning of it's a little ridiculous to me.
Sorry, Rick. It's the older people that are being idiots. The 11-year-olds, the 17-year-olds, they love each other. They're having fun. They play sports together, listen to the same music, go to the same concerts, spend the night together. It's the older generation that's acting like idiots.
Well, I think Springfield High School is one of the most real world high schools in the area. I mean, there really is it's got more diversity than any others. I mean, it is Oregon. So that's not like it's overwhelmingly diverse, but it is a little more diverse than other schools in the area. So I think that they do. And I've always thought, well, did you go there, Isaiah? Did you go to Springfield?
No, never go to Springfield. That's a respected black man.
I can't hear you.
I went to South Eugene.
Okay. I thought you lived in Springfield now.
I used to live in Springfield, but like I said before, the funny thing is when I went to South Eugene and when I went to Sheldon, you could hear the kids talking about, oh, well, you don't go to Thurston for that reason, or you don't go to Springfield for that reason. And so it's like the kids know as well. They know what's going on over there.
Well, what reason? What reason was that?
Because there's racist ass teachers and racist ass people there. That's the reason. And we're not going to turn a blind eye and act like this community, act like the Springfield community hasn't been enthralled with racism.
There's probably a racist teacher at every school in this country. There's probably at least one.
It would be irresponsible for me to get up on and not say that.
Well, that's your opinion, and I think you can say it. I've always found with Jose at the helm there, he's from Brazil, and I find the kids when I go over there, they seem to get along, and people seem to be, doing their thing. Maybe I'm wrong.
You can't say that every teacher at the schools are racist, though. That's not fair.
I lived in Springfield, and I'm not, but so I think, and there's race. You can find just as many racists, I think, in Eugene as you can in Springfield.
Every teacher at Springfield and Thurston are not racist. I can tell you that 100%.
And I can tell you that 100% they're not either. Not every single. But what I'm saying is that the fact is this: there's a lot of people that are from this town, that are born in this town, that have that same mindset of when it comes to Eugene versus Springfield. I'm just, and
I get it.
if we're going to sit there and act like that's not the truth, I mean, come on,
I get it. But you're not gonna let those people stop you from doing what you want to do, though, are you?
I'm never letting anybody stop.
No,
me.
fuck them.
He's
Let them go be ignorant.
Also have two different mindsets. You know what I'm saying? There's certain people growing up in certain areas with certain different mindsets, man. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? We're in Eugene, Oregon, having this conversation. We're not in those thicker areas that racism is just really it's a glaring issue. You know,
you can't legislate it, man. I said that in my first video with Rick. You can't legislate feelings. You can't tell somebody how to feel by passing a bill or law. Ain't never gonna happen.
No. So Isaiah, here's something, Isaiah, and I'd like both of you.
Webster Dictionary. No. That's
okay.
Go look at the Webster Dictionary. I don't need to define what a racist is. That's not gonna happen.
Did you see that question, Isaiah?
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Let's stop. We all know. So
yeah. Okay. That's pretty silly. We know what a racist is.
Okay, we won't go there then. You guys, I'm going to wrap this up but I really appreciate both of you and Isaiah, especially on such short notice, and Derek, as always, thank you for coming on. So again, you guys, I am just glad that the video was out there so parents were saying something, so we can at least start this conversation and get something going. We don't have to all agree, but God, we can still walk away and be friends and try to do in this community.
And I want to just say, I love Rick for doing this. This is what we need to be at, and I love Daryl for doing this. Derek,
you can call me Daryl.
Is it Daryl?
Derek.
Sorry, Derek.
Sorry, brother.
I don't think any less of Derek or Rick because of their opinions. I hope they don't feel any less because of me.
Not at all.
Like I said, America is heading in the right direction consistently. We're getting better, and we're always self-evaluating. And so I think that that's what's beautiful. I think that that's the kind of message out of all of this. No, is the story told the right way all the time? No, it's not. No, it's not. Did Coke do the right thing by saying be less white? Hell no, they didn't. All right. No. That's shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
No, that Joe Biden, when you get on TV and said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. That was awful.
So like I'm just happy we're able to do this is all I'm saying.
I am too.
You know.
And we just had a guy come on here. And he is Michael. He is a teacher at Springfield. I'm actually the only black teacher there. I'm open to offering my perspective if that would be helpful. Man, Michael, I wish you'd come in sooner because I got to shut this down. But you know what, Michael, would you contact me? Because maybe next month I would love to talk with you and put together something else like this. I think what we should do is just keep forcing this conversation where at some point it becomes that we just have this big audience of black folks talking about these issues so that we can all kind of learn and understand. Isaiah, I appreciate your candor. And I mean,
I do too, but me as well.
Kahunas. And I knew you would. That's why I wanted you to come on here, because I don't want this to be a whitewashed thing. I want this to be something that people can hear different ideas and opinions from. And then instead of judge, put some stuff together. And Derek, thank you for coming on too and doing this.
Anytime.
You guys so I'm going to pull you out.
Springfield and Thurston's gotten better. It's gotten much better. No one's there hasn't been progress because, it's definitely gotten a lot better. And the school district, I just wish I would love to see more money going into more schools in Springfield.
Yeah, I would like to see this conversation going on all over Oregon. All right. Thanks, you guys. I'm going to pull you out. All right. See you later. So there you go. That's how an uncomfortable conversation goes. And that, you guys, that is so healthy for us. That is what we need to be doing, to hearing people's views and stop judging people and telling people what they're supposed to think. And, if this bothers you and it worries you, then say something. And everybody should be going to the school board and saying, this is what we want. I think as parents, what most of us would say we want is to be involved in the conversation. I want to know what you're teaching my kid. And I want my kid to understand, that the issues that face us, and if that's that we are being that we're putting barriers up for people of other colors to have equal situations in our business. Yes, I'm kind of stammering around this. I'm trying to be so careful because I know I'm going to get hammered for this, but I'm trying to be careful and trying to be sensitive. But you know what? I'm not going to shut up, and I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep bringing this conversation. They're not going to nobody's going to put the pressure on and shut us down. We're just going to keep doing what we do. And let's start bringing some people from the Latino community in here. I'm sure this is as bad for them as anybody. And right now, folks from China and Asia and places like that are getting put, as with the flu and all that. And I mean, it's just we have to stop. God, that's what I think bothers me when I first saw the video is, so don't turn it now. It's my problem because I'm white, because then you're doing the same thing you don't want me to do to you. And what I know what that does for us is that it just makes us push it. What I think happens is we dig heels in deeper, they dig heels in deeper, and then we never come to some kind of a conclusion. And if I can be just a little bit Rick Dancer right here and just be me, I think that's what leadership wants. Not the Biden administration. I'm saying all of them. The more they divide us, the more that they can control us. This is my own opinion. And so I'm not going to be controlled by anyone. And I'm not going to let them ruin my friendship with Derek. I don't agree with everything Derek said, and I don't agree with everything Isaiah said, but they're still my friends. And I'm not going to let anybody stand in the way of that. So, I am not going to buy into some of this stuff. I am going to go out and try to figure out what I can do. I will post the video. Tina is up earlier. We played the whole video. You go back and watch it and you'll see it. And that's another thing. God, oh man, this is hard. This is exactly what we want to do though. This is like, this is just exactly what we need to do. All right. So you guys, it's Thursday. I don't have a show tomorrow, but on Monday, we're going to go out to, what's my next really? We're going to be talking on Tuesday to a county commissioner from Douglas County who sent out a note to the governor to tell her to stop paying people to be unemployed because it's killing our businesses. And then on Thursday next week, I have shows all next week, but the ones I want to really hit for you on Thursday next week, I have a teacher in the area who is going to come in and just tell you her thoughts on what is going on and why education is not opening up. And some people are not going to be happy about that. So what do we got here? I'm looking. All right. So anyway, you guys share this on your page because Facebook screws around with me and tries to shut me down. And if you share it, we had thousands yesterday just by you guys sharing it. And that's what I need you to do. All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much. And have a